welcome to another edition of Decrypting Cryptocurrencies on Financial Express. And today I have with me Nischal Shetty, who is the CEO and co-founder of WazirX. And of course, many of you out there probably already own cryptos and already own a WazirX wallet. WazirX, of course, is now part of the Binance network. And, crypto being the flavor of the season, I think I must start with asking Nischal, first of all, this festive season, this Dhanteras, this Diwali, do you see, people usually make new investments, but do you see this year being very different from the other years in terms of crypto?
I think, for crypto, every year has been better than the previous. And true to that, it's been following that. You might ask me, what about the bear market in between? But in terms of participation, crypto has always increased in number every year, year on year. And this year is no different. But I think the difference is in the scale. This year, I think millions of people have been entering crypto. And now what I'm seeing, the chatter is around the festival being an opportunity for those into crypto to gift it to their friends who are not into crypto. And I've been talking to a few people. And what I realized is people have always wondered like what to gift during the festivals. And every gift that you give is something, now everyone has everything, if you think about it. But crypto happens to be that conversation starter. So they're not giving it so much for value or as an investment, but more as a thing that picks the interest and curiosity of their friends. So I think it's going to be very interesting. I'm really excited about how festivities and adoption, are going to commingle with each other. But yeah, I think overall in terms of numbers, like last 3-4 days ago, also we saw one of the highest trading volumes in India, which was about $566 million on WazirX alone. So yeah, I think the markets are eating up right now. Very excited.
But do you think that all the investors who are getting into crypto really understand this market, or are they here just to make a quick buck? Because it's crypto is one of those things which you would say like paisa dalo और 3 महीने में paisa double types, right? Because I know so many people who have no clue. They're probably not even invested in the stock market, but they have a crypto app on a wallet on, and they are just putting in 5,000, 10,000 rupees, and seeing small gains, because there are a lot of these cryptos now available, from Shiba to Doge and all of them, which are fairly affordable compared to BTC, where you'll get like 0.00001 BTC or something.
Right. So see, I think it's not a 0 or 1. It's not like everyone getting into crypto does not understand, or the other way around. I think there are these phases, and if you see, there's this large part of the market which understands crypto to a large extent, because the largest demographic is like the 22 to 28-year-olds. Yeah. And no matter from where they come, what part of the country, they seem to have an affinity towards tech. I think it's probably because they've all grown up with mobile phones and tech talk and everything around them. They understand. They're not techies or anything, but they understand what crypto is. Having said that, there's always this one side of one demographic which is entering because they see their friends making money, or you hear about a token going through the roof in terms of prices. They get in. And I would and I keep repeating that education is going to be one of the most important aspects of crypto in our country and anywhere else. But again, there's nothing wrong in I think making money. What is important is you don't put into projects that might be scams or a short-term view, because one of the biggest misconceptions I've seen is people think that it's rocket science to create a crypto itself. So the narrative that spreads across is, oh, there is a new token, let's put into it because it is new. It's as saying as there's a new social network, it'll be the next Facebook. That's not going to happen that easy. So I think there's still a level of misunderstanding around what crypto is, which needs to be solved. But in general, I've seen people are very open to learning this. It's not like, in fact, if you think about the stock market, how much do we really deeply understand before we go? And there's no curiosity left. Out here, there is curiosity. And I love that. I think everyone's learning. And it's increasing in number. The education is growing in this sector.
Okay. But do you see crypto really becoming mainstay? Because see, the bill is still pending in Parliament, and the Indian government is still deliberating on it, and whether we should go ahead or not. And while they're still deliberating on it, there's still a lot of buzz happening in crypto, and more people are getting into it, which would probably make it very difficult if the government was to worst case scenario, come out and say, no, we're going to ban crypto, because you're going to lock up tens of thousands of crores, I would suppose now, in crypto of Indian investors, right? So
about $1.5 to $2 billion worth of assets now.
Right, exactly. So do you think some sort of regulation, some sort of mid path, where do you see this heading with the cryptocurrency bill?
Look, definitely regulation. I don't see any other outcome, simply because it's not a sure. One side of the argument is there are 20 million people in India and $1.5 to $2 billion worth of assets. There's no way any government would erode the wealth of such a large number of people. But the other side, because that seems like threatening, that there are so many people, now you regulate. But I think let's look at the other, objectively look at the technology. And if you see the India in the progress that we have made as a nation the last 10, 15 years, isn't technology like one of those at the top, because of the startups, all the product companies, the services companies? So I think it's just a good, I would say, a strategy for India to regulate this sector and make sure that we remain the top nation in technology. Because this is like, if you look at the general term that is being set for crypto, it's Web 3.0.
Yeah.
Now we should understand there's been Web 1.0, 2.0. Do we want to not have an edge on 3.0? So I think, and I'm seeing this chatter amongst the regulators, the government now, that they're understanding that there's an angle where India can actually grow really fast using this technology. So I don't think there's any doubt anymore on whether regulate or ban. The question is when regulation and what form it will come. That's going to be the challenge for not just India, but every nation on earth right now.
So let's just get to WazirX, and also there's so many other crypto exchanges which are popping up overnight. Last count, there were more than 350 exchanges out there. The entry barriers also are very low. One, in setting up an exchange. Two, in setting up your own token or your own coin as well. And you've done both. So, how did you think about getting into this crypto space when you started out?
It's a long story, but to quickly tell you, I'm a software developer. My background is that, and I was developing a product on top of Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And what happened is, initially when they launched their product APIs, they got everyone to build on top of them. And when it was time for them to make money, they started putting all these rules and regulations and removing all of the API access. Now that got me thinking that this is not the right way that the internet should be, where a few large companies control the internet. And that's where I happened to come across crypto, where the beauty is, even if, let's say tomorrow Satoshi Nakamoto appears out of nowhere, they or he or she can still not make any changes in the Bitcoin code and get everyone to adopt it. It has to be a consensus that everyone involved does.
Right.
And the other thing is
blockchain technology, which is now applicable across other sectors as well, in other fields too.
Absolutely, and that's what attracted me. Just the whole decentralization aspect. Then eventually I realized that there were not enough good exchanges in the country. Let's build a good one and focus on mobile. That was like the key, because India is a mobile first nation, and I think there was not a good mobile app. So we pushed hard on that. And the third was the lack of regulation. If you see, you rightly said 400 exchanges. Where should I invest? Because none have regulations or any licenses. So it becomes important that as a founder, I put myself in front of people so that there is trust on our exchange. And that's what happened. And that's how we grew so fast.
Okay. Yeah. So that brings me back to the question now, if you can't beat them, join them kind of thing. That's what the government seems to be doing when they're considering their own digital currency. But there is a subtle difference between a digital currency that is regulated by a central government versus a cryptocurrency, right? Because to me, in layman terms, if I was to look at it, a digital currency is pretty much the same as your paper bills, as your fiat currency that you're using. So how do you think a Reserve Bank of India bringing in its own digital rupee is really going to affect the crypto market as such? And to kind of push the digital rupee, do you think there would be probably some regulation from the government side to, kind of keep a lid on crypto as such, so that it doesn't, form a parallel economy?
Yeah, no, I think, CBDC and other cryptos are completely different. They might use the same technology, but the reasons for existence and the use cases are going to be very different. If you look at, you rightly said, a CBDC would be a representation of the INR, and it
Yeah.
will be used for payments as the major use case. The good, and all these bitcoins and everything is an asset or a utility which is used for the specific blockchain they're built. So on a blockchain, I can't use INR, so I'm going to use, let's say, Bitcoin or Ethereum or the other tokens that exist. Now, in terms of CBDC coming in, I'm a big proponent of that, and I believe that it should happen sooner than later, at least in India, so that we have an edge. And I'll tell you why. You look at the unbanked population in India, about 200, 300 million people in India don't have a bank account. And while the government is pushing for everyone to come to the banking sector, but there's a lot of infrastructure, physical infrastructure requirement for you to, get banking access to everyone. Now think about CBDC. What it will do is anyone in India with a mobile phone can download an app and instantly get that. It's a lot like why is cash in everyone's hand today is because accessibility. It's so easy. I don't have to do anything. Now that is going to happen. Why is WhatsApp on everyone's phone? Because I just have to download. That's the same thing that CBDC will do. And what will happen is this 200, 300 million people, the unbanked population, will come to the digital economy, thus pushing our entire digital sector ahead. So I'm very bullish on the fact that India should push for CBDC and come with it. Regulation definitely is a problem today, because of which even CBDCs are difficult to come by. So they will need to change.
Right. But but there's still some, an element of doubt when it comes to cryptocurrency. People are still not very sure what it's backed by, and which is why you see the kind of volatility that you're seeing in the market. And there are so many new tokens and coins coming up every single day. Now there are some, like probably Ethereum and all that, which have some sort of tangible asset behind it. I mean, the more software that is used, the more the value of Ethereum goes up, something like that. But then there are so many others, like a case in point being Dogecoin, which had virtually nothing backing it except Elon Musk's tweets, right? So how does one really decide which kind of crypto one should put their money in?
Look, I think it depends on what you believe in. Like I understand a lot of people think of Dogecoin and other meme tokens as fun, but a lot of things start as a joke and a fun thing, and they go on to be like, for example, Doge is like one of the top 10 cryptos today. Uh, so maybe that's adoption, and maybe that there'll be more use cases around it. A few years back, people were giving Dogecoins for free to their friends. Now they don't. So things are changing, but I think these are again exceptions. These are not the rule or the norm. The norm is you look into a crypto project and understand where does it fit in a post crypto world. And what I mean by a post crypto world, to give you a simple example, today if you want to start a bank, first of all, as a developer, you will never think of doing that because there's a lot that goes in, including money. But crypto, what is happening is an entire ecosystem is being built around different protocols. Where the idea is, let's say 3-4 years from now, if someone wants to build a bank, they just have to integrate these protocols. There are protocols for savings, there are protocols for lending, there are protocols to do exchanges between different tokens. And all of these protocols need tokens for their existence because they don't have a company behind them. So you need to take an objective approach and say that in that world, what are the protocols of today that will be used the most, and get into those cryptos, because when a protocol is used, those cryptos are the ones that will gain value because they are limited in number and everyone will have to use that protocol token for running their banks or their financial products. So it's about research and understand. Having said that, most people who get into crypto, they start with Bitcoin because it's the most popular, and it's already established its use case as a digital version of gold. So there's not much Bitcoin has to prove except just reach more people.
Right.
And today, Bitcoin has reached about 150 million people in the world. The internet has 4.7 billion people. So that's the growth that is ahead of it. That's how it's seen.
Right. So, I mean, the other concern area for an investor when putting money in cryptocurrency is how easily can I withdraw my money? Because if you remember in 2018, the RBI suddenly issued a circular saying that all cryptocurrency transactions, especially from institutions, are banned. Banks couldn't fund money going into crypto. So that underlying fear is there. And also at the moment, like if I put in money, how easy is it for me to withdraw my money and send it back to my bank account in INR?
So today it's really simple in India. I mean, you can put a sell order for your crypto, and it instantly matches with someone who wants to buy it on our exchange, and then you just hit the withdraw option, and all that money comes to your bank in, I think, half an hour, 1 hour. So it's almost real time or instant withdrawal, and it's fairly simple. Having said that, this is still an unregulated market. We don't know, and banks do have trouble, but at least
Yeah,
because the Supreme Court overturned that whole banking restriction,
yeah,
there is no one who can stop you from encashing it or also buying crypto.
yeah. But this also brings me to the point, like, you all personally had an issue with foreign exchange act and all that. In the enforcement directorate had issued a notice in May, June. Is that like an area of concern? The volumes of money going in and out of the country. Should I be worried as a consumer about a FEMA act applying to me if I was to get into crypto?
So, see, I think from a legal perspective, I'm not very sure what happens, but I would like to tell you that I think in 2018 or 2019, there was an RTI query raised by someone to the RBI asking whether crypto comes under FEMA. And I think the response was that it does not come under FEMA because it's not listed as a currency or anything defined as that. Having said that, I don't think as on today, the entire crypto ecosystem, not just in India, but globally works in the same manner. There's nothing different being done in India compared to, let's say, any other country. So I think it's now again open to interpretation, but millions of people are using this. And since it's not defined yet, it should not be a problem. But don't take my word for it. I think you should take legal advice end of the day.
Of course, of course. But how's the journey for you been in the past 3 years, ever since 2018, when this complete ban happened, and then again it opened up last year? How has the journey been for you? What did you do during that phase? How did you write out that part?
So I think that was the hardest phase, not just for us, but any exchange in India, any crypto business in India. One is funding dried up. Nobody wanted to fund. Your banking access was removed. It was hard to even pay salaries because there was no bank account. Not that there was no money, there was no bank accounts in between. And I think a lot of exchanges shut down in India. I remember at least 4 or 5 of them that I know of. And a couple of them went outside the country, so it was a really hard phase. I think what kept us going, at least, was the fact that we understood that this is the technology to be in. Once you get into crypto and you then get back into any other financial technology or anything, you'll realize how superior this is. But for that, you have to get into this once. And which is why, if you see anyone who gets into it, it's like a rabbit hole. You just can't get out of it. So the temporary fluctuations and the temporary issues we always knew was just that bump in the path, and it will get sorted, and we believed in it and we continued, which is why, if you I don't know if you know, but in 2018 I launched this India Wants Crypto campaign,
Yeah.
and I've been tweeting about it, bear market, bull market, whatever. I've been tweeting about why India needs regulation, what is crypto, educating people, and I've been seeing a growing demand for it, a growing number of people, and I think metrics are in front of us. India needs it, the world needs it. So it just, I think this whole tech part of it kept us going. If it was purely finance, I think at least me as a techie, I would have been bored, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, we're almost out of time on this. One last question. Where do you see cryptocurrency going in India from here on? Do you see us in, like, say, 3 years, 4 years, having this as completely mainstream, uh, without the kind of discussions we're having right now about should I not, and how legal is it or not?
Absolutely. I think one is, let's see in numbers. We are at 20 million users. And I believe in the next 24 to 30 months, 36 months, we'll reach at least 100 million people in crypto. And that will be about 15, 20 million, 20% of the India's population into crypto. That's where we can call it mainstream. Right now, it's still niche. So I believe 2 to 3 years is where crypto will go mainstream. Now, what's the definition of mainstream is really up for it because there's NFTs, for example. Now that's not an investment option, but that's still crypto. So
Yeah.
and new technologies, new like industries are opening up to crypto. So I believe it's not just going to be about investment, but crypto will get into every sector in different ways. And at 100 million, I think we would have arrived in the country, and it's happening. It's rapid right now.
And how important is 5G technology going to be for this, especially with NFTs also getting into it? And I can probably just digitize a painting of mine and put it out there for sale.
Yeah, I think 5G will probably help a lot more for blockchain, because if you think about it, in general, I think there are these heavy in NFTs, for example, there are these heavy files being created today, which on a normal mobile phone it's really difficult, and which is why you're seeing a lot of web-based products being created. And I think the moment you have faster internet access and more internet access, we'll see crypto creeping into mobile apps. That is just starting. It's not really, it's like what web used to be for web 2.0, where websites were first, then mobile. That is where crypto is. I think in the next 1 to 2 years, with 5G coming and with more penetration, there'll be mobile first decentralized products being built. That'll be great for adoption, at least in India, I believe.
All right. Great. And on that note, Nischal, thank you so much for talking to Financial Express. And we hope to see more of you on this channel in the days ahead. Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot for having me here, Roshun.